my time well. I do not know what I'm going to speak on that, but I'll just share some tips because he insisted that I speak on what exactly do you want to know? I mean,
how do you convert 24 hours into 96 hours? Simple question.
No, I don't.
Ask anybody whether that question is relevant to. Rahul, is it relevant?
Most relevant to me.
No, I cannot differ. Pardon me?
Satish cannot differ.
No, I'll just tell you briefly because it's very embarrassing to talk about yourself. Well, I was a very sincere student in Bombay. For whatever reason, I didn't study well and I didn't do well, and that was a kind of a setback to me. And I said, I'll never again have the humiliation. I missed one exam, and I said, I'll never again have the humiliation. So there's an enormous drive to do well and succeed and so on and so forth. And I happened to read some books which changed my life. One was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The other was Ayn Rand's Fountainhead and so on. So, but mainly Think and Grow Rich, which basically tells you, we all say live in the present. Live in the present. One theory is live in the future. Live in the future. Because what I've read is that the two things distinguish a man from other creatures. One is we have the capacity to visualize what we can do in future, which no animal can do. And there's a very favorite saying of mine saying that what you see, you will be. So once you set a goal, you will achieve, you can work towards that goal and achieve it. Then I thought to myself that suppose you imagine something fanciful, can you achieve it? I read an article by Bulwer Lytton who said that, very nice passage, he says, there is nothing capricious in nature. There is nothing capricious in nature. The implanting of a desire indicates that its gratification is in the creature that feels it. So you will not have a goal unless you are capable of its achievement. So one thing is visualization, which you can imagine the future. And speaking for myself, then ever since I read Napoleon Hill and so on, I started setting targets for myself, and which helped me. I think a large part of what I've been able to do is my manager, Mr. Sitaraman. From the time in 1982, he came to me, he wanted a part-time job, and from 92 till 94 till he retired, till I got married, every single day 5:30 to 7:30 in the morning, he'd be in my office. So even if I slept at 1 in the night, I'd be at my table at 5:30 to 7:30. And I'd sort of planned, I said, okay, I'll work for 1 year in a civil office, then work for 3 years in a tax office, and then set up my own practice. So I tried to set targets for myself and achieve them. And I'll tell most youngsters that I think most of us don't even scratch 10% of our potential. I mean, the potential is so much, and sometimes I get very annoyed that I'm wasting time. Honestly, I get very, very upset that I'm wasting time. And for example, I read an article saying that nobody wastes time. You simply do things you should not do. Somebody says you don't waste time, you only waste yourself. So these are all various things. So talking of targets, I would tell youngsters and so on that you must set very clear goals. I set for myself a target that I'll write a nationally known book by the time I'm 30. I didn't want to write something on Tamil Nadu Court Fees Act or something, not demeaning it, but something on a national level. So 2 initial books flopped because I couldn't complete it, copyright issue. So finally excise book came. Why did I choose excise? See, around 84, 86 when BP Singh came to power, central excise was the flavor of the thing. You had mod VAT credit, you had tariff, a lot of litigation coming into central excise. So I said, if I write a book on central excise, I may perhaps, because income tax there were so many stalwarts, it would be like a candle against the sun, very difficult to establish yourself. So I said, let me get into a slightly new field like excise. That's how I started writing the book. And an interesting anecdote, I started writing the excise book on November 21st, 86 on the Grand Trunk Express on my way to Delhi. We had a Grand Lodge of India Silver Jubilee celebration in Delhi. My father took the flight. I couldn't afford the air ticket, so I took a second class ticket by GT, and I started writing the book on the train. And I wanted to write by the time I was 30, but it came 2 years later. But what I'm saying is, if I had not planned till 30, the book would not have come till 32. So I was paying Sitaraman 150. My salary from Ramamani was 300. So apart from teaching, I had to make it up. So I suddenly set a goal, I'll write an article a week. And in 104 weeks, I wrote 77 articles. I got married in the meantime, so I couldn't do that. But when I set that target, I kept writing. Now on time management, one thing I find is that most important is, one is, I like to set my targets very clearly. And in fact, if I may share something, this Diwali I'm planning to set things till 2020. Because 2015, half the decade is over now. We're going to come to 2020. What are we going to do? What is going to happen in 2020? Just visualize. Digital commerce will be in the front. E-commerce will be in the front. What will be the legal position for e-commerce? So I'm thinking of all those things. And I learned from my nephew who works for a German company. He says when you set a goal for a long project, very, very important are the intermediate milestones, which I was not doing earlier. So I was in Delhi last week and he gave me a lot of tips on how these people plan. If they plan something in 2019, they are very, very clear in working backwards. What they should do in 18, 17, 16, 15 on a quarterly basis. Of course, law is very difficult, but at least you plan these milestones, it works out. Then the other way, you said how I make 24 hours. I don't do that. Basically, what's very important is at night, every night I review my day and I plan for the roughly plan, except 10 to 4 because in the court, as you know, everything is chaotic. You plan, nothing goes per schedule. But before 10 and after 4, generally it is planned. Now I'll tell you some few tips I learned from various books I keep reading on time management. There are a lot of websites. There's a website called jamesclear.com. A lot of productivity tips you get. For example, you have to make number of phone calls. Right? Now I travel a lot. Now at night, any airport, Delhi to Delhi airport or Chennai to my house in Ahmednagar, in the evening time, it's dark, you can't read. So I typically plan all my calls at that time because I can't read, so I can finish all my calls. There also I plan, suppose I'm going to speak to say Satish or Arvind Pandey and I know this call is going to take 15-20 minutes, then I'll plan it in such a way that I block that time so that I talk to them. So smaller calls I finish. And I keep a piece of paper where I keep what I call fillers. So 8-9 things I want to do in the course of the day which takes 1 minute, 2 minutes. So if in court the matter is getting passed over or some adjourn, I'll go out quickly, make the call, finish those things. So all those things I try to fit into the day. And one thing I'm not able to do is, I'm not able to work at 90-minute intervals, which I find is a very productive thing to do. And another thing I'm not able to do is not able to write on a consistent basis every day. One of my favorite time management stories is Anthony Trollope. This man was the Postmaster General of the United Kingdom. He set up post offices in various places. He wrote 47 novels and numerous articles while having a full-time job as the Postmaster General. He's also an excellent fox hunter. He did a lot of fox hunting, a member of many clubs and so on. Very normal social life, had a nice family. His system was, he wrote every single day, 5:30 to 8:30. He wrote every single day. First half an hour he'll review, and then he wrote at the rate of 250 words every 15 minutes. I mean, something phenomenal. And if he finished a book at 8:10, he'll take the paper and start writing the next novel. He's a man after my dreams. That's the kind of discipline he had. And in fact, he was going by ship to Alexandria, to Egypt. He set up the entire post system in Egypt was set up by him. Because of morning seasickness, he used to go to the porthole, vomit, come back and again write. But he didn't miss that 5:30 to 8:30. And he makes a very nice statement. It's one of my favorite sayings. He says that a small task, if you do it every day, it leads to great efforts. And he puts it beautifully. He says, a small task, be it daily, will beat the efforts of a spasmodic Hercules. So that's the way he puts it. So this is my things on thing. But I will personally tell you, those of you interested, you can note one lovely small book which is worth its weight in gold is Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. I've given to some of my friends. Other very good book is GTD. There's a GTD movement, Getting Things Done by David Allen. That's a good book you can read. And of course, Tony Robbins is a great motivational speaker. So don't have the impression I'm doing too much in a day. It's just still lots to do. I think Dr. Badnar can tell us how he manages his time at the peak of your...
Not very well.
No. We all feel that way.